guys, Walker White actually, we say it all the time. Oh my God, these guys are going to recruit, and then nothing really happens. I get a couple guys, This guy's actually, it seems like he's making an impact. I mean, we'll see in the long run, but it certainly feels like it so far. And a lot of it hinges, and Cole's going to speak to this. Remember when we talked about why Jeffrey and I were very early on thinking that Auburn could get Walker White. We're not right a lot. We were right. We were right there. And we thought because of the religious element, the faith element, him and Freeze were connecting. They were on the same page. Right now, obviously, you had Philip Montgomery involved and all these other elements, but that was significant. So, Cole, I'll hand it off to you. What are you hearing about Walker White and the faith angle with recruits?
I mean, I think it was Charlie Collins who said, man, he is he's on me every single day. By the way, Charlie Collins, Charleston Collins is his name. He goes by Charlie, 4-star defensive lineman from Arkansas, was actually at Walker White's commitment ceremony. He was there and was invited. No, yeah, it's definitely interesting. He was there, he knew he was going to pick Auburn. He said that he sort of threw him off, said Clemson was going to be the choice, whatever. But he said he knew it was going to be Auburn because Walker White said, hey, we're going to play together in college, just so you know. And I'll let you know who I'm picking. You come to the ceremony, you come hang out with me and the family, because they're both from Little Rock. They're friends. Mm-hmm. And he said, when I was looking at, if he wants us to play together, I was looking at his choices. He has Baylor, Clemson, and Auburn. And I said, and he was like, well, Clemson's not really talking to me. Baylor's not really talking to me, but Auburn is. So he's like, he's probably picking Auburn. And then from there, he said, I gotta know more about Auburn. He scheduled 2 visits like that. He's going to be there in March. He's going to be there in April, and he wants to take an official visit in the summer.
But by the way, if you're an Arkansas fan, there's not a lot of D1 players in Arkansas. And you just the quarterback, the stud quarterback's going to Auburn. Now you got Auburn, trying to get one of the other studs in the state. That's got to be an uneasy feeling.
That's what I was thinking the whole time talking to Collins. And really, Arkansas, if you look at their classes, they do fill up from that state. And there's some decent players there. It's not as vast as Alabama, Georgia, obviously Florida, but they do pretty well in their home state. So I'm interested to see what getting Walker White out of there. And there's another guy there too that I'm supposed to catch up with here soon. I can't think of his name. Receiver from Arkansas.
Receiver / safety. I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, yeah.
He plays a multitude of spots. He's a big time athlete.
I'll look him up in just a second. But to your first question there, Jeffrey, which guys do you think Auburn really might have a shot with after talking to him? Collins, for sure.
Okay.
I say DeMarcus Riddick. I really believe they have a shot with him.
Cole, what about your boy Casey Poe?
That was my next one, Casey Poe. And you talked to him first, and you got most of that information from him. I just kind of wanted to check back in with him. I felt like he was a guy that's really interesting because he is friends with Walker White as well.
And that's a kid in East Texas, right? So East Texas is kind of like its own state. You get east of Dallas. I think he's at the Tyler area, I want to say. And so it's kind of like those kids will go to LSU. They'll go to Texas A&M. They're not really beholden to one, you know what I mean? And, that again, he's an offensive tackle, correct, Cole?
I think he's an interior guy.
Oh, you think he's an interior guy? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you start looking at their offensive line recruiting, and Jake Thornton, the offensive line coach, has them pretty much lined up visiting from Dallas to the Carolinas, and that's going to be his area. I think eventually, guys, like if Auburn takes this climb, like the program should, then I think you'll see Jake expand his reach a little bit. You can get some linemen up north, some from the Midwest, maybe a guy in California, but I think he's found that comfort zone at Dallas, East Texas, North Texas, East Texas to the Carolinas. That's where you're going to find a lot of your guys. You're not going to really find too many down in Florida. I feel like I think if I'm an Auburn fan, you've already got your quarterback locked up. I think what's got me most optimistic if I'm an Auburn fan is what I'm seeing with the offensive line recruiting.
No doubt.
I think
it's going to be pretty good, I think. I feel more confident about it every day, every time I talk to one of these guys.
They got to get these guys, obviously. but it feels like early on, guys are saying things that make you think, boy, they might already be in the top 2 or 3. And it's February. So with one visit, some of these guys have been once, some of these guys haven't been at all. They've connected with a lot of them. You know what I mean? They, for whatever reason and however, they've been able to connect with some of these guys. And yeah, obviously they see opportunity. There's a new energy with the program. Jake Thornton's a young guy that came from Ole Miss, and all these offensive linemen, they all kind of see themselves as run blockers, even if they're not, right, Cole? They all, you know, they all kind of, and they saw what Ole Miss did last year as a running team. And so there's some real street cred out there with Jake Thornton. But it's encouraging to say the least.
I wanted to add too, you know, we talked about how important it was to have a guy like Walker White, not just, you know, that he's a 4-star guy, but he's a quarterback, and getting him to start off your class is huge. Having a quarterback in general is huge. But you have to understand this too. I mean, these guys, if they're on that side of the country, they probably have been to a camp together in Texas or in Arkansas. You know, they know each other. Okay. And when they see a quarterback, he's the popular guy. I'll be at a camp this weekend, and it's the quarterbacks that stand out. They know everybody. Okay. They're like the greeting committee at these camps. Okay. Well, Casey Poe, that's a great example of somebody that landing Walker White got them in connection with. And I think they were trying to talk to him before, but it really opened his eyes to Auburn when he saw that a guy that he knows real well and a really good quarterback goes to Auburn. So that's a big deal that Walker doesn't even have to do anything. It's just his name that helps with that.
Yeah, quarterbacks have that luxury.
Now if you're Auburn, you're hoping, and I don't think they necessarily care about rankings that much. Although Hugh Freeze did bring up rankings in our podcast the other day. They notice it. They don't necessarily care what we think on an individual evaluation level. They do their own evaluations. But I think if you're over at Auburn, you're probably hoping that Walker White goes out and tears it up at some camp this spring.
Sure.
To get that boost in the rankings, because other kids notice that. You know what I mean? They do.